What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another video where we are going to talk about crypto. And it's crazy because I was like, man, there's just so much to talk about. Where do we start? Let's see. We had the market that absolutely dumped last night, and my phone was blowing up, and my friends that are new to crypto are messaging me, and they're panicking, and Donnie, why is the market going down? I'm losing money. You told me to invest, and my simple reply was, I hope you bought more, because I know that I was, and all of my crypto friends, we were celebrating. We were celebrating as the market dumped. In fact, I missed it by just a little bit. I was watching and I'm noticing it. I'm noticing that it's going down, and I'm like, okay, I'm paying attention. And I got up to make my dinner, and I was gone for like 10 minutes, and I came back, and the market had dumped and it was already coming back. And so I got in a little bit late. I didn't get in as good as some of my friends, but I did get in. And so that's a whole conversation in itself. But what I really want to talk about today is something that has been on my mind, and I can't help but take notice that, man, the distractions are real. Right now, every time I open my phone and I get onto like Instagram, or I, open up Facebook, the first thing that I see are all of the ICE agents and all of the stuff that's going on there. And last week it was the fraud that was taking place with the daycares. And before that, it was Venezuela and the president, and it was Iran. And before that, it was the Epstein files. And at some point, I think it makes sense for us to think, well, why are all of these things being put in front of us day in and day out? And in my humble opinion, it's sort of like a red herring, right? It's like let's go off on this trail and let the bloodhounds go off on this trail and sniff the red herring while the robbers get away on this trail, right? And I think there's a lot of that goes on, but you have to ask yourself, well, what are they distracting us from? Why do they want us focusing on all of these headline subjects in the news? And I think it's pretty clear that it would benefit the powers that be for us to be distracted while our financial system is changing. Because if we're unaware of what's going on and we're paying attention to all of the headlines, the moves are being made without us knowing, right? And so that's on the macro. That's on the macro. But on the micro, more specifically, right now, one of the biggest bills that's going through legislation is the Clarity Act. And so if the Clarity Act were to go through, and I'm not all the way sure of where I stand on it right now today, because I just haven't done enough research on the bill itself. But from what I understand, the position that it's in right now would not benefit the average person later on down the road, right? Because we know that our new financial system is predominantly going to be on the blockchain. It's going to be digital. There's going to be stable coins. And wouldn't you know that the big banks have their hands in this legislation that's being written? And from what I understand, they're trying to limit the amount of rewards, amongst other things. And again, that's why, I said I haven't read all the way through the bill. But amongst other things, they're trying to limit some of the rewards that take place, because if you no longer need to deposit your money into the bank because you can buy various cryptos and earn percentages of reward back on the money that you have in these crypto projects or stable coins, that's not good for the banks. Because right now, what do? We go and deposit our money into our checking account. And if we're lucky, we can get a savings account or a high yield savings account that might earn 0.0% by parking our money there. I mean, shoot, you can go open up an account on Coinbase and transfer money into and get USDC, and I think it's paying 3.5%. That's not doing anything. And that is why I'm so passionate and excited about crypto, because I feel like the potential of where this can head is huge. Just the other day, I'm going to be completely transparent. Just the other day, I I had to come up with a large sum of money. Okay, I had to come up with about $14,000, and most of my money was tied up. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money to come up with in like 24 hours. And so I reached out to some different people, and because I have a lot of resources and from the different masterminds that I've been in, and guys that are into funding and private lending and all of those things. And I could have went to my bank and got, a traditional loan to get the money really quick. But at what expense? At what interest rate? And so again, I reached out to some of these guys that I know, and they came back with some numbers that were just absolutely outrageous. And I go, you know what? Why not go and leverage my Bitcoin? Because I have Bitcoin, and that's what I did. I went into I opened up my Coinbase account, and I borrowed some money from my Bitcoin. I had to put up a little bit. So you have to essentially tie up some of your Bitcoin to borrow some. But I put up enough that my loan to value ratio was really low, so I don't have to worry about getting liquidated. But guess what? I had the money in like 3 minutes. It was literally 3 minutes. I slid the scale, how much I wanted. I agreed to the loan to value ratio. I hit the button, and there it was in my account. And then I transferred it to my bank. It took me like 3 minutes. And that's the power of this future of finance. And again, if those things are available to us right now, but if this Clarity Act were to go through and we're distracted from what's going on in the future, those possibilities might not be there, because who knows what little things get slipped through. And I'm not, listen, I've never been on Capitol Hill, and I don't understand the process at a federal level, but I have been to the state capitol. I go up there every year here in South Dakota. I'm very involved with the legislation in the industry. I'm coming from the barber industry, so I've been very involved in a lot of the laws and administrative rule that involves our industry here in the state. And what I can tell you in as the process plays out, and I believe and I'm using the Clarity Act as an example, but let's just say you have legislation that's introduced and it passes the first committee, which is like the House of Representatives, that's where the Clarity Act, right? It passed through the House of Representatives, and then it goes to the senators, and then it goes through all the different committee hearings. It depends how many different committees will hear the bill, but once it clears the Senate, at least at the state level, it goes out on the floor to get voted on, and then it gets signed into law. There are not a lot of changes that can be made, and so again, this crypto, this Clarity Act that's being worked on right now, my concern is that if the bill is put together in a way that doesn't benefit us, and you got guys that are saying, hey, let's just get it through and we'll adjust it later. My concern is that let's just adjust it later never happens. And again, maybe it's different at a federal level than it is at a state level, but that's been my experience. That once things are signed into law, it is a little bit of it's a little bit of a stretch to try and get things changed. So again, that's just one thing. But with this channel, the hope is that we can enlighten you as to what is taking place and the opportunities that are presented for you, for the average person. because those opportunities, in my opinion, aren't going to last very long. I don't believe they're going to last very long. And, and again, using my friends as an example, I can think of one specifically right now that invested in XRP last year, late, or I should say early 2025. He got in at the high. And every time I hear from him, he's like stressed out about the price and why it hasn't made any money. And, he bought high and, the XRP sucks and all of this stuff. But the position that the crypto market's been in over the last, several months, where it's just been low and it's just been trading sideways and there hasn't been a lot of action, I've been taking advantage of it, and I've been buying, and I've been trying to accumulate as much as I can before price appreciation takes place. And who knows, that could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be next year. It doesn't matter to me, because my personal plan is a 5 to 6 year timeline, right? So when I got in this go around to crypto, I said, you know what? My timeline is 5 to 6 years. If I can make some money in the meantime, great. Does it suck sometimes when I look at my account and it's down a lot? Of course. But again, and the saying goes, when in doubt, zoom out. But when I zoom out and I look at what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to change not just my financial future, but I'm trying to change the future for my family. And I'm trying to put us in a better position financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of those things. And so the decisions that I'm making today have a direct impact on the quality of their life in the future. And that maybe that's a little too deep right now. I mean, we're just getting to know each other, right? You're just starting to watch my videos, but that's how I think. And you may say like, hey, well, man, I understand. I want to get involved in crypto. I don't know how. I don't have the extra money. Like, dude, I get it, man. Things are tight right now. I'm feeling the pressure, right? Like I said, I just had a $14,000 thing that I had to come up with the money in a short amount of time. And the average person probably couldn't have done it. And I'm not saying that to like boast or brag. I had to get very creative. Part of that ability is because I've been an entrepreneur for the last, good part of my life. And so I understand and, how to make things happen. But for the average person, things are tight. They're tight for me. And so if I was just getting started on this journey and I was like, hey, man, I want to get started. I just don't know where or how or where to come up with the money. I can tell you right now, it's there if you're looking. I'll give you an example. So I do Zoom calls every week with my team, and I have a barber shop. And so the barbers on the team, we do a Zoom call, and we talk about investing, and I've been helping these guys invest in crypto over the last year, and man, it's so cool to watch. It's so cool to watch. And one of the guys is on the Zoom call, and he's like, man, I hear you, Donnie. I want to do it, but I just don't have any extra money. And then he takes a drink from his Red Bull. And I go, hey, man, can I ask you a question? Yeah. I say, how much does that Red Bull cost? And he goes, I don't know, like $5 or $6. And I go, how many of those do you drink? Is that just a one-time thing? He goes, no, I drink them every day. And I go, oh, okay, so if you're drinking them every day and you're spending $5 or $6 on Red Bulls, could you not then divert those funds to buying crypto, XRP, HBAR, whatever your investment may be? And like I saw the light bulb go off, that guy in particular has been so cool to watch. I've been, we check in once a week and just to see how well he's doing in terms of investing and, just the excitement and the accumulation that's taking place. But I've done the same thing. I had to do the same thing. When I was really wanting to take this serious and I'm trying to figure out where can I get extra money from, there were habits I had to let go. I'll give you an example. I used to go to Starbucks and this little coffee shop every single day. I would drink a a large Americano with a heavy whipping cream. And I would buy 2 at a time. And sometimes I would buy some for my wife, and sometimes I would buy some for my staff. And I was spending a lot of money. Let's just say it was just for me. I was spending probably $15 a day. And then you throw in the tips. And so add that up, working 5-6 days a week, and it's a lot of money. And I was like, man, so if I can just eliminate this habit, that's extra money that I can put into crypto. And that's what I did. I got online and I bought an espresso machine that it was, I'll be honest, it was a little hard for me to do because I didn't want to spend the money on this big, large purchase. But I bought it anyways, and I bought the coffee beans for it. And I plugged it into ChatGPT. I put all my numbers, how much I spent, how much the coffee's costing me, how many cups of Americano I drink a day. And would you know that in like a month and a half to 2 months, I was like net. So I had paid off the machine, and then everything that I was doing, in my opinion, or like in numerically, was almost like I was ahead. Because now I'm no longer spending that money at Starbucks or that other coffee shop. And instead, I'm taking all of those dollars and I'm buying crypto that I believe is going to go up in value. And again, I'm not just buying random cryptos. I'm buying things that have real world utility, things that I believe are going to be part of our new infrastructure. And so none of what I'm saying is financial advice. Obviously, I encourage you to do your own research, but the urgency needs to be there, because if you don't do anything now, you're going to wake up, you're going to look up 2030, and everything's going to already be in place, and you're not going to have the opportunity. Do you think that when AI is as advanced as it's going to be, that you're going to be able to like invest faster and make decisions faster than AI? Have you ever used ChatGPT and dropped a bunch of information in there and the speed at which it replies? So imagine when that's taken place with trading and investing. Good luck. And so that's why, again, the sense of urgency needs to be there now. It's like, what can I do now? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. What can I do today? And if all of that you can afford is $5, but that $5 is in you're going to go spend it at McDonald's or somewhere else, please do your future self a favor. Imagine the people that invested in Bitcoin when it was $1 and they bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. Imagine the feeling that they have if they were able to stomach the volatility, because in the process of getting to where it's at today, obviously there's a lot of volatility and ups and downs and all of that. But imagine if you took that same $100 that you're going to go blow at who knows where, and you invested in your future, and you just put a 5 to 6 year timeline on it. I think your future self would thank you. And that's what I'm doing. That's what a lot of my crypto friends are doing. You know, I'm in what I would call a mastermind group of crypto investors. And, you know, listen, I'm not some expert. I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning every day. But I'm thinking of the guy in the video that buys the Pokemon cards, and the wife's like, "Did you just spend another $1,400 in Pokemon cards?" And he's like, "I don't know what everybody else is doing, but that's what I'm doing. If they're serious about it, that's what I'm doing." You know, I don't know what everybody else is doing with their investments, but if they're serious, that's what I'm doing, right? So anyways, that's all I got for you today. If you are liking the videos, definitely like, subscribe, share it with somebody that would benefit. And if you are somebody that you feel like you want to get just started with bettering yourself in general, It's not really crypto related, but I have written several books that are available on Amazon. A lot of them have to do with, your daily habits and your mindset and things like that, which I believe are probably the most important thing in terms of the quality of your life. Everything comes back to how you think and the decisions that you make. So definitely check me out on that on Amazon. You just type in my name, Donnie Joseph, and you can see some of my books that are available. Don't feel obligated to buy, but they're definitely an easy read. And so that being said, I look forward to chatting with you soon. And in the meantime, in between time, I hope you stay well and we will talk soon.